virtual convention, with social distancing guidelines keeping delegates from having the giant stadium-filled blowouts we're used to seeing.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and I'm doing virtual school today. So, you guys are going to be watching me. You guys are actually going to be watching me do my virtual school. So, what I have going up here is Stress Table, and what I have going up here is CNN 10. So, I'm double whamming it all in one day. So, we're going to put you on the one with Stress Table, because I don't have a place for it for my phone right now. It's mostly on my bed. But yeah, so if you guys hear this in the background, please ignore it. It will be there. I might end up trying to find my headphones just to put on if I have to. I don't think I'll get copyrighted.
Take place in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the convention will allow Republicans to officially nominate incumbent President Donald Trump and incumbent Vice President Mike Pence for a second term in office. Other goals of the event include laying out the party's priorities and drumming up voter support for the November 3rd election. Experts say President Trump is hoping the Republican National Convention will have more.
She's here with me too, so she's off to the side because I do have a lot of Google Meets. One Google Meet you guys will hear, so yeah, the last one at least.
Live programming and
Hopefully
audience
the last one you'll guys
in
will
last week's
here
Democratic
too,
National
and
Convention.
yeah.
By tradition, the party that holds the White House holds its convention second, but there's no tradition associated with a pandemic. Another example of how these are very unusual times we're living in. Hundreds of wildfires are raging in California. Here's a quick by-the-numbers look. CAL FIRE, the State Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, says there have been
As you guys can tell, I'm getting tired. It's the end of the day, so I'm getting tired.
They've been blamed for starting most, if not all, of the 615 new wildfires that have flared up in the past week. More than 1,100,000 acres have burned, and firefighters are doing everything they can to contain these blazes. This doesn't necessarily mean putting them out.
It's crazy.
Keeping them from spreading. That can be done by creating fire breaks, places where vegetation has been cleared out, for example, giving the blazes nothing to burn and nowhere further to go.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get down here, okay?
Firefighters trapped on a ridgeline in California. The only way out is up.
No, I gotta get down here, guys. I'm right there.
A helicopter crew braves gusting winds to scoop them away to safety.
They've been blamed for starting most.
I'm gonna play that part again because that's a good part.
More than 1,100,000 acres have burned, and firefighters are doing everything they can to contain these blazes. This doesn't necessarily mean putting them out. It means keeping them from spreading. That can be done by creating fire breaks, places where vegetation has been cleared out, for example, giving the blazes nothing to burn and nowhere further to go.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get down here, okay?
Firefighters trapped on a ridgeline in California. The only way out is up.
No, I gotta get down here, guys. I'm right there.
A helicopter crew braves gusting winds to scoop them away to safety.
See how close it is, guys?
A close call here, but it is a pitched battle across the state to put out more than 500 fires, many caused by lightning strikes. Officials say two of the blazes are among the biggest they've had in almost 90 years. More than 12,000 firefighters are battling the flames, many working 24-hour shifts. But so far, it is not enough manpower to hold back the fires, which have burned an area bigger than the size of Rhode Island. Neighboring states are sending help, but state officials say they need more.
We've also reached out across the border into Canada for resources and support. And many of you up here recall it was 2017. Some of the best wildfire firefighters in the world from Australia. We also have
Australia
for that talent as well.
Officials say there are too many fires right now to save some homes, and nearly 120,000 people have been
That
evacuated.
home was flattened.
Some people are taking it into their own hands.
Guys,
to
that
protect
home
their property.
was
The
leveled.
border into Canada for resources and support. And many of you up here recall it was 2017. Some of the best.
That house was like leveled from the
firefighters in the world
flames
from Australia.
became
we also
leveled.
have requests out for that talent as well.
Officials say there are too many fires right now to save some homes, and nearly 120,000 people have been evacuated. Though some people are taking it into their own hands to protect their property.
When we got here, flames were all out in front. And halfway down my driveway, my house was set way back, so we just started getting to work, and we put the fires out, and so far we've saved it, but you never know.
In previous fire seasons, prisoner firefighters have been used to help contain the blazes, but authorities say there are fewer of those resources now because of early releases due to the coronavirus. Forecasters say dry thunderstorms are in the forecast, which could bring more lightning and strong winds to the region, making the job of those trying to stop these ever-growing wildfires even more dangerous.
Up next, coronavirus has created a conundrum for campuses across America. Some have reopened, some have partially reopened, some have gone virtual.
Guys, if you guys are in this pandemic with me, you guys know that we're all having to do online school. It's crazy, but also a lot of things are now happening because of COVID. People are dying. Like, it just is bad.
The challenge for universities has another layer.
So they're trying to
This fall,
separate
more
students
than
from each other.
75% of them are expected to be partially or fully virtual.
If me and
Questions are being
my
raised
friend
about them
Kaya
charging full tuition
were
fees
to,
without providing face-to-face instruction. Some have offered discounts. Some are struggling to find a balance when they do provide
go back to school,
face-to-face instruction, but it coincides with the
I
spread
won't
of
be there
coronavirus.
sophomore year.
A number of
So
COVID-19
she'll have to deal with it
clusters
herself.
have formed at
But
universities across the
if we
US,
both go
where students
back,
have been invited back
there's
for
a
some form of
high
face-to-face
chance
instruction.
we're gonna
Some
have to make
schools
new
have gone
friends,
completely remote with
cause
virtual learning
I won't
only.
have any friends
Others
in my
have
new
a
school. So
hybrid system, a combination
yeah,
of in-person
so
and
I
virtual
switched
learning.
from elementary,
Sometimes have very strict rules when it comes to wearing masks and social distancing.
switched my
They
elementary
still can't
schools,
control 100% of
switched
student
middles,
activity. For example, we've seen
and then
where
now
students have thrown some
I'm gonna have to
off-campus
switch high
parties,
schools.
and
So
in the
I've
case of
been
Syracuse,
switched out of
at least
3
20
schools.
people have been suspended for throwing a party
Yeah,
in their
so
quad.
that's
Florida
fun.
Atlantic University
That's very
begins
fun.
their fall courses on Monday, and we spoke to one family who moved their son into those dorms. Here's what they told us about the virus concerns.
I think it's everywhere. I don't think there's any hiding from it. And I think just trying to protect yourself, is the best that you can do. I think the school has been good with as far as hand sanitizers, the social distancing. They have a lot of steps in place, so it's made me feel a little bit more comfortable actually being here and seeing the steps that they're taking.
On that campus, some of their safety measures include not having any in-person classes when there are more than 50 students per class, and when there is face-to-face instruction, the number of students in the room is greatly reduced. FAU did report 3 of their football players testing positive for COVID-19, and that's why football practice is temporarily suspended until they can review the next round of tests, which is scheduled for Monday. Natasha Chen, CNN, Miami.
10-second trivia. What is the term for a space rock that enters Earth's atmosphere and hits the ground? Meteor, meteoroid, meteorite, or meteorite?
Meteorite.
Meteoroids become meteors when they enter our atmosphere, and meteorites when they hit the ground.
Knew it. I'm not
Just
that
like meteoroids are
stupid.
relatively small rocks that are zipping around in space, asteroids are bigger ones, and 2 of those have been in the news recently. The first one passed
yeah,
very
so this
close
is
by
just
Earth
my
on
life
August
now,
16th. It was
and
about the size of a car, and
yeah.
scientists say it probably wouldn't have hurt anyone if it had entered our atmosphere. But NASA missed it. The agency didn't pick up on the asteroid until after it had whizzed by, less than 2,000 miles away. And researchers say that makes it the closest asteroid ever known to pass by Earth and not hit it. NASA didn't miss another asteroid that's headed our way. This one's about 6.5 feet in diameter and should zip by on November 2nd. Scientists say the chance of this rock hitting Earth is about 0.4%. They don't expect it to have a major impact or to disrupt the U.S. election the next day.
We get questions here all the time about comets, asteroids, and meteorites. What's the difference? Well, let's start in space and work our way all the way down to the surface. A comet is a snowball. It's a piece of ice. Now, the ice is mainly frozen gas, not water, but there could be dust and rocks and things inside the comet. Halley's Comet. Now, NASA knows of about 3,600 other comets than that one out there. Closer in the asteroid belt, these are rocks, not gas. They could be metal as well, but they are hard surfaces. And sometimes they come out of the asteroid belt, get closer to the surface of the Earth, or at least our atmosphere. If one or a piece of a smaller one, called a meteoroid, hits the surface of the atmosphere, it turns into a meteor. It gets bright because it hits our atmosphere and begins to burn up. If it doesn't make its way all the way down to the surface, it turns into a shooting star. Now, if it does make its way all the way down to the surface of the Earth and hits the ground and you can pick it up, that is a meteorite.
It's a summer tradition to try to catch the ice cream van as it meanders through the neighborhood. You ain't catching this one. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. And the British inventor who charged it up set a Guinness World Record for fastest electric ice cream van. How fast? Not as fast as a minivan. Its top speed was measured at about 74 miles per hour. But if you're trying to chase down a bomb pop or strawberry crunch on a hot summer's day, you could go nutty, buddy, falling all Ori over yourself with your legs bubble gummed up and feeling like slush as you tried to push up close enough to this ice cream rocket. Woo! I'm Carl Azus. There is one way to get a mention on our show, and Medina Public School in Medina, North Dakota knows it. You comment on the most recent show on our YouTube channel. CNN 10 is back tomorrow.
So I'm done playing my game, because I gotta do my work, and I cannot do it if I'm focused on something completely different, so I'm trying to focus on this and get myself back to work, but it's kind of impossible because, yeah, looking at some old pictures. Why isn't it playing? Okay, I'm gonna try to replay it. So, I'm replaying it right now, so. Because I definitely lost focus. So, what we're gonna do is choose up here now.
Welcome to CNN 10. We are kicking off the second week of coverage of our fall season. We know a lot of you are just now getting back into the swing of things, so we thank you for doing that with our show. I'm Carl Azus. Last week, America's Democrats had their time in the spotlight as their party convention was held Monday through Thursday. This week, it's the Republicans' turn as their event officially gets underway. Like the one before it, it's expected to be a largely virtual convention, with social distancing guidelines keeping delegates from having the giant stadium-filled blowouts we're used to seeing. A scaled-down gathering is still set to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the convention will allow Republicans to officially nominate incumbent President Donald Trump and incumbent Vice President Mike Pence for a second term in office. Other goals of the event include laying out the party's priorities and drumming up voter support for the November 3rd election. Experts say President Trump is hoping the Republican National Convention will have more live programming and audience response than last week's Democratic National Convention. By tradition, the party that holds the White House holds its convention second, but there's no tradition associated with a pandemic. Another example of how these are very unusual times we're living in. Hundreds of wildfires are raging in California. Here's a quick
Now I gotta
by the
go to
numbers
Canvas.
look. CAL FIRE, the State Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, says there have been roughly 12,000 lightning strikes in California since August 15th. They've been blamed for starting most, if not all, of the 615 new wildfires that have flared up in the past week. More than 1,100,000 acres have burned, and firefighters are doing everything they